Okay, abrupt intro ending. Welcome in. It's the John Cast Podcast. It is episode number 77, I think. Welcome into the podcast. I'd like to thank the fine sponsors of this podcast, including me and Julio in Fitchburg. They've got game day specials for the college football and NFL games. You can go check out at me and Julio on Fish Hatchery Road in Madison, open 7 days a week. And those game day specials, you ask, I don't know, $5 classic margaritas, $3 Coors Light pints. Go check out me and Julio. Also brought to you by Ian's Pizza. Ian's Pizza in their State Street location is currently looking for a few cool people to join their front of house team. Customer service focused individuals that love pizza, rad coworkers, and having a good time at work are encouraged to apply. Sounds pretty good. Guaranteed to earn $16 an hour. You can go check out their website, check out their social media for more information. And they've got the black and blue flank steak making its guest appearance in the pizza window for the next 2 weeks. The black and blue flank steak. That sounds delicious. I've got a promotion going on right now. You can win college football tickets to the November 5th, November 4th. Gosh, I always forget what day November 5th or 4th is. Let me look it up. November 5th. College football game in Madison. I've got 4 tickets to that plus a $50 gift card to me and Julio. All you have to do is just answer the trivia question I'm going to provide here. It's provided by my buddy Justin from college, whose tickets I'm using. So you're going to answer that. Write down your answer in the social media post on either Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. If you get all these 3 correct questions, starting with the last episode, this episode, and our next episode, you'll have a spot in our final drawing on October 30th for those tickets on November 5th. So the question is this: what was the previous school that Wisconsin women's head coach Marissa Mosley coached at before coming to Wisconsin? What was the previous school Wisconsin women's basketball coach Marissa Mosley coached at before leading the Wisconsin Badgers? Go answer that on our Twitter or on our Facebook or on the Instagram. And if you answer all 3 questions correctly, you will be eligible for that final drawing. Okay, enough of that. Let's talk to today's guest. Today's guest was, man, you must have been one of the, you're on like one of the first few episodes of this podcast. He calls Wisconsin men's hockey on the radio and also on television too. I'd like to welcome my former coworker, good buddy, Brian Posick, to the John Cast Podcast. What's up, BP?
Hi, John. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much.
I
Enjoying a little snowflakes, and it's October. This is great. It's hockey season.
It's such a crappy, I guess it is hockey season. So from that perspective, yeah, it is pretty good for you. Yeah. But the cold and the snowflakes, I hate it. And you know what? Because I just got back I got a booster and a flu. I doubled up. I went 1 in each arm. Flu.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you lift your arms? How are you feeling? You okay?
So far, so good. I'm thinking by later tonight, I'm probably going to be able to just go like this high. And what I hate about these shots, absolutely hate, is that I get a shot to make myself feel sick, essentially. I'm going to feel sick today. So this is good sick weather is my whole point. It's cold and no one's going outside. So I'm going to probably feel sick tonight because of my stupid shots.
No, I feel badly for you. Hang in there. You'll be all right. You'll be all right. That's part of the whole thing, though, right? I mean, they warn you that you could feel ill for a day or 2, and then it's supposed to take care of things. So you'll be all right, John. You'll be all right. You look good. You look good. I love the hair pulled back. I mean, you look slick. I
finally, after almost 3 years of having long hair, have figured out how to do the bun the right way. I don't know if I can see it. Yeah. It only took about 3 years, but now before I was just putting it up and whatever.
Well, how long does it get?
We don't need to talk.
Bun? I want to see the undone bun.
No, you don't.
Not. Come on.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do. I want to see it.
Because it looks like, let's see, how could I describe what it looks like?
Clay Matthews.
It looks like I have long hair. It goes down to my shoulders. And so there's a 70s night, I think, coming up at a Wisconsin volleyball match in the future here at the field house. So if I put my hair down, wore like a headband and like a classic rock t-shirt, I would totally fit in. I look like a folk singer when it's down. I think.
Really? Nice. Yeah. Okay.
It's
like Harry Nilsson or something like that, right?
Like who?
Harry Nilsson. You never heard of him? Okay.
Who's that?
He's a folk singer.
Oh, yes, exactly like him.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm just growing it out. I'm going to try to donate it at some point.
All right. So how much do you spend on product then for your hair? I mean, if it's all the way down past your shoulders, I mean,
Well, I mean, it's just conditioner and shampoo.
Okay.
Right. So that's normal.
Yeah.
Probably go through more of that than
Yeah.
typically and back in the day.
Losing hair
And then
ties. You have to buy hair ties, right?
oh yeah, hair ties. I just stocked up at Target, 10 pack for like $3. And these are really high quality ones.
Good.
And
Good.
then just hairspray. I just hairspray. And okay, why are we talking about my hair? I use this thing to brush this back so it doesn't stick out.
It
It,
looks good on you, John. It looks good on you.
it's a whole routine. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I don't know. So what have you been up to? What are you doing besides the
Absolutely
hockey?
nothing. Absolutely nothing. No. I mean, Wisconsin hockey started, so go to the rink every day and watch practice. And they played 4 games so far. It's been a rough start, but I thought they played their best game so far last Saturday when they lost to St. Cloud 2-1. Just couldn't finish. Yeah, other than that, walking my dog a lot. Stanley's laying down here somewhere.
I love that picture. On my birthday, I sent on a tweet that said,
Yeah.
people just posted pictures of your pets for my birthday.
Yeah.
And Stanley's was like one of the, if not the like cutest picture.
He's the best. He's the best. How many pictures did you get? Did you get quite a few?
I got more than I anticipated. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
people love posting pictures of their pets. And I love looking at them.
Yeah, no, Stanley's a handsome dog. There is absolutely no doubt about that.
Yeah. You watching any TV shows? You keep
not really. You know what? My wife says that too. She knows that I don't watch shows. So I watch sports. That's pretty much it. We'll tune into a Netflix documentary or something like that, or when my son's around, we're watching Marvel movies or something like that. But otherwise, I don't watch a lot of TV. Now, if Cheers was still on, I'd watch that every day. But and I've seen every episode. But I don't. I like my daughter will watch. She's watched The Office, I think, 15 times, like every single episode, and she just redid it, a couple of weeks ago, where that she's got downtime and she just watches every episode. And but otherwise, no, it's strictly sports.
That's funny you brought up The Office, because I was going to say, I'm sure you can find Cheers. I'm not sure what platform it's currently streaming
I'm sure it's
on.
out there, yeah.
But that's exactly what I do with The Office. I do The Office every once in a while. I'll just episode after episode in the background. I just finished Parks and Rec, so I'll go back to The Office now on Peacock, and I'll just keep watching that. I started watching the Jeffrey Dahmer show on Netflix.
How is that?
Posick, I'm a little apprehensive about watching it, but I'm into it now, because I didn't feel like I wanted to support entertainment that, I don't know, I don't think exploitation is the right word, but at some level, like, they're making money off people's deaths, I guess is my bottom line. Like, real people got murdered in horrific ways, and then they're like, hey, we'll make a cool show out of it.
And there's an audience for it, John, and you're one of them.
And apparently I stayed off, and then I went on it. It's disgusting and gross, but it's pretty intriguing. They do a good job of telling kind of his story and his background, I guess. But I don't know. I wasn't, around for a lot of the Jeffrey Dahmer stuff. I mean, I was, but I was too young to follow it. So
no, I remember it well. I mean, it was sickening and frightening, and you read all the accounts or watch on the news or listen to the radio, and I don't need to revisit that. I heard enough. I don't need to see what type of life he had, or I feel for the victims and their families, but no, I'm not going there. Not going there. It's got to make me feel good, John. If I'm going to watch something, I want to feel good. I don't want to sit there and cringe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean.
Although watching the Packers on Sunday, the Jets, I cringed quite a bit. I was, I guess, fortunate. I didn't see a lot of the Wisco Michigan State game. I probably would have cringed a little bit for that too. But no, I'd rather watch comedy and sports.
Well, let's talk about that cringeworthy Packers performance. Going into before this game against the Jets, my feelings about the Packers were, are we sure the Packers are going to be good this year? And so far through 6 games, they're average, right? They're not meeting expectations on offense. They're not meeting expectations on defense. So the way I would kind of describe the Packers is they're obviously below average, but that doesn't mean that throughout the course of the season they can improve, because I am conflicted on one thing, Brian. There are 3 losses: 5-1 Minnesota,
Yep.
4-2
Giants.
Yeah, and 5 and hold on, let me bring up the NFL.
And the Jets.
And the Jets
are 4-2, right?
4-2. So anyway, 4-2, 5-1, 5-1 are the records of the teams they lost to, right? So that's why I'm a little hesitant, because 5-1 Giants, 5-1 Packers, thank you, and then 4-2. Who's the other one? Jets. Yeah, obviously Jets. Sorry.
The Jets were good. I mean, man, they just out physicaled them.
Well, how much do you take that into account? That the 3 teams combined record is 14-3 overall. It's not like they're losing to bad teams. They're losing to, right now, some of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, and 2 of them were on the road. Well, one was on the road. The other was in London, right?
And if they flip that London score around, what are we saying about them after this? Are we saying that the season's done? They're 4-2. They lost to the Jets. If they flip that one against the Giants, you got to qualify. I don't know. Obviously, they're not good.
Yeah. Well, you've heard, if ifs and ands were what, candy and nuts. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, right? No, you can't go there. You can't. They lost. So they're an average team right now, and the way they played offensively, they look below average right now. So that's concerning when you. And I understand with the offensive line, they're trying to figure that out still. And Bakhtiari appears to be healthy, but Elton Jenkins really struggled. Their interior offensive line appears to be a mess. The wide receivers, you lose Devontae Adams. How do you replace that? I think Alan Lazard has done a decent job for them. Romeo Doubs, I think, can be the playmaker that they hope he can be, but he was limited against the Jets. And then Randall Cobb goes out with an injury. One of the bright spots, I think, is Robert Tonyan. We're seeing him reemerge to what he was a couple of years ago before the injury he had last season. So that's promising. But defensively, we went into the season thinking they were going to be gangbusters. And for the first half, they held the Jets to 3 points. But they all, Zach Wilson's their quarterback, for Pete's sake. And look who, and Daniel Jones was the Giants quarterback. And then you had a third stringer for New England that almost beat you, right? The thing is, though, they played 6 of 17. And if you look at their schedule, they damn well better beat Washington. But that's first of 3 in a row on the road. And then you go to Buffalo. What's the likelihood they're going to win in Buffalo against a really good Bills team that played well against the Chiefs? And then you go to Detroit, and I mentioned the defense before, and I know Detroit's been kind of held in check, or was a couple of weeks ago. Can they stop that team? I don't know. That's what's fun about it. You don't know what's going to happen each week. So we could be miserable if you're a Packers fan after watching what we watched on Sunday, or, all right, the next one's coming, and we're all going to be sitting there and tailgating beforehand, having Bloody Marys beforehand. Well, some of us will. And preparing like we always do, whether it's now or it was back in the 70s when they weren't that good, So I'm not going to lose any sleep over them right now, because I'm not sold on the Vikings, although they appear to be better. Chicago's a mess, and Detroit, it seems like you don't know what you're going to get. I mean, you score 45 one week, and the next week you're shut out. Or whatever I think they were shut out by New England, right? So the division is still wide open, and quite honestly, it's like any sport. Get into the postseason tournament, and then roll the dice and see where you go from there.
All right, a couple of things.
And you feel better. I mean, I know you're a big Vikings fan. It's all good, right? That's why I have my Minnesota mug here.
Thank you for that.
Yeah,
thank you. You can see on Spotify.
Actually, they have fewer than Wisconsin, but I just thought I'd make you feel good today.
Yeah, fewer lakes. If you look at the screen right now, Don Meredith once said, according to Google, if its and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas.
Correct. Yes, we would.
That's what you're looking for?
Yes, that's exactly the quote I'm looking for. I don't know if he
I don't think he coined it.
Up with that, but
no.
But when you listen to him on Monday, he was a treat on Monday Night Football. You're too young for Don Meredith. You never saw him. He was, oh my gosh, he was, well, it wasn't Monday Night Football, but it was with Pat Summerall, the old CBS coverage. They were fun to watch.
No, he didn't coin it, but if ifs and buts were candy and nuts first appeared, according to Google, in an old nursery rhyme, if wishes were horses. So I don't, I don't know, whatever. Anyway, back to the Packers.
Yeah.
So I think obviously there's more ammunition on the side that they're not as good as we thought they should be or were going to be. Right. I think obviously, like all those reasons you stated, almost lost to a third string quarterback, the games that they actually have lost, granted, have been against higher level competition. But I don't know. I also feel like there's still time to figure it out. And if you have Aaron Rodgers, I don't know. I think I'd put my money on Aaron Rodgers figuring out at least something. Now, that doesn't stop the defense from doing whatever the defense is going to do, but it kind of leads to the question now at 3-3. And this is the poll question I put out on my Twitter at John Audius Radio. Let me pull this up. Boom. There we go. Can you see it? All right. This season, the Packers will win. And my options were less than 9 games, 9 to 10, or 11 or more. And right now, 56% say less than 9 games. That's everybody jumping off bridges right now. 38% say 9 to 10. 5% say 11 or more. What do you say?
I would say 9 to 10. I'm shooting for a double-digit win season. So you got Washington, then at Buffalo, at Detroit. You're home against Dallas, home against Tennessee, right? So let's just, for the sake of saying it, that's 4-1. So then you're 7-4. Then you go to Philly, and they're the only undefeated team left. That's tough. You go to Chicago, you should win that game. The Rams aren't as good as they've been, so they follow the bye week. You go to Miami. I think they are better, but I'm not sold on them. And then you have the Vikings and Lions at home. Conceivably they could win, 7 of their last 11 and get to 10 wins. So I'm going to say 9 to 10, thinking 10 at least. Yeah.
But your expectations.
But the expectations are down because of where they're at right now, and that's what it is. What have you done for me lately? Is the common phrase that you hear. So right now I understand where people are and jumping off the cliff and complaining about this and that and what have you. But I'm not going to lose faith yet. You've got the 2-time reigning MVP, and granted he hasn't looked sharp. I mean he's thrown some deep balls that look good. He's missed on others. But, even against the Jets, he's not stepping into throws. He's short. He's just off. He doesn't look right. But he's also being attacked because the offensive line is not as good as they were hoping it would be. So they've got to shuffle that around, figure out a way to protect the quarterback and open holes for Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. And, I don't know how many touches Jones had yesterday, and I'm tired of hearing Matt LaFleur say, yep, yeah, you know what? You're right. We need to get him more touches. That's all fine and good. Well, then give him touches, for God's sake. Find a way to get him the football in space somehow, and they just haven't done a good job of that. He's one of the game breakers, one of the true game breakers in the league, and he is. He's the only game breaker that offense has. So why wouldn't you give him the ball 20 or 25 times? I guess that's what bothers me is that we can see it as laymen, but the coaches and Aaron Rodgers, for whatever reason, aren't giving him the rock when he should be getting the rock all the time. Keep giving him the ball. Just get him the ball somehow in space so he can do what he does. And we've seen how good he is. He's one of the best in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree. I think Aaron Jones needs more touches. And like I'm trying to state so nobody calls me out, I don't think the Packers are in a good spot right now. I'm not sure if they get to that double-digit win total or not, or because if they're the team that they are right now, I don't think they get there. Can they improve? Because that's the thing. Like you with Aaron Rodgers, I'm holding out. I would be holding out hope if I were a Packer fan that Rodgers and company can figure it out.
Right.
And if you just take a step back, and I know it's the Jets and the Giants, and maybe they suck at the end of the year, and maybe the Packers are good again at the end of the year. But once again, the combined record of these teams you've lost to is really good. You're losing to good teams, which is better than losing to bad teams. So I'm trying to twist it as positive as I can, even though it's not looking positive right now. I just don't think you should be bailing quite yet.
If they lose at Washington this week,
okay, then you can start bailing.
Then you can start bailing. Yeah, you pull out the buckets and start bailing. Big time. Jump the ship.
Yeah.
Jump the ship. They should not lose at Washington. Actually, and then they go to Buffalo. They're going to be 4-4, in my opinion. In 2 weeks. So we'll be in the same spot as we are now. There'll be a 500 club. And then we'll find out, I guess. Or, are they better than Dallas? And Dallas has looked good. They're going to get Dak Prescott back here soon. Now, granted, they lost to Philadelphia, but Philly's really playing well. Is that going to continue? They're not going undefeated. There's no way. There's no way. So, again, come back to me. How about, if you want to do another podcast around Thanksgiving or something like that, then we can see where they're at. But I'm not going to lose any sleep over it, because if you look at the NFC right now, besides Philadelphia being undefeated, are you scared of anybody else? Are you even scared of the Eagles? I'm not. So
no, I mean, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see as the season goes on. And then my last thing, another reason why I don't know if you should be as concerned as you are, just take a deep breath kind of a deal. And I understand it doesn't look good. I totally get that. I want to preface everything I say with that. But there are still other quote unquote good teams this year, like the Cincinnati Bengals, who are also 3-3. There are still good teams.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Good teams like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady, who are also 3-3. The Rams are 3-3. The Packers are 3-3. So it's not as if they're the only team that had high expectations that are underperforming right now either. I mean, the league's going through a weird shift where the Jets and Giants are good right now. So I don't know how long that lasts, but also just keep that in mind that the season's long, I guess, is what I'm trying.
That's great. You should be a psychologist.
I'm trying to calm everybody down because
I was impressed. I'm not a fan of Zach Will. I mean, he's a serviceable quarterback, and what did he throw for? 99 yards. I mean, it was nothing. But Green Bay gave away 10 points on special teams, and offensively they couldn't, manufacture really anything. So the defense was out there all the time. And when the offense keeps coming off the field, 3 and out, the defense is getting worn down. So,
and that's a touchdown game at the start of the fourth quarter, right? I mean, that's a 7-point game. And without that special teams mistake, that's possibly a tied game at that point. And I mean, I don't know.
Their special teams did not look good against New York. Oh my gosh. Block punt, block field goal, the return, Barrios he's quick. He's fun to watch. He's like a Steve Tasker type of guy with the old Bills, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you like that? Yeah. What are you drinking there, John?
I like that reference. My leftover coffee from my Yeti coffee mug.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
All right, Badgers. I don't know how much you watched. I watched in and out of the game, and especially overtime.
Yeah.
How do you view the rest of the season now? New head coach. Some players are now leaving the program. How do you view the Badgers the rest of the
year? I'm not going to lose any sleep over guys leaving the program. I mean, Logan Brown has had plenty of opportunities to work into the starting lineup and did because of necessity and wasn't very good, and then did something stupid and he's gone. Deacon Hill wasn't, he wasn't a top 2 quarterback with them. If Chase Wolf is healthy, he's the 4th. So, and when a coach leaves, a coach who had brought him in or helped bring him in, and you're thinking you're going to work with him, I'm not surprised by that. And then you look at Marcus Allen, except for the touchdown he had against Northwestern when the game was already decided. I mean, he wasn't in the top rotation with wide receivers. So it's easy when a head coach is fired, when a coaching change is made. You're allowed to move on if this is not where you want to be. You came here to play for this head coach. He's not there anymore. They left. So I'm not going to. That doesn't bother me. When Chris McIntosh made the change, I was I don't think upset is the word. I was surprised.
I was shocked.
Because I know Paul. I like Paul. He's one of the most genuine people you're going to meet. A head coach of a major institution that is just the salt of the earth. So I felt for him. And then you see what his buyout was or what it could have been, and I think he's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
So I was surprised, but then they don't want to lose Jim Leonard. I get it, right? So when they made the move going to Northwestern, that seemed logical to me, because if they would have lost the Northwestern game, I think wait a minute, there's something really wrong here. Michigan State, I know they have been struggling, but that's on the road too, and that's a proud program, and Mel Tucker's done a decent job, except for this year. But we saw some of the problems that they had. Their offensive line has not been very good. So, Graham Mertz, I don't think it's his fault that they're in the position they're in. But I mean, he could be better. There's no question about that. But something's missing. And, I'm sure you read the article in The Athletic by Jesse Temple, and I read it too a couple of years ago with the departure of the entire recruiting staff, basically. I mean, that set them back big time. So they've got to address that issue, once this season is done. And I'm sure they're already doing it. They know what they need to do. And they have to get back to what Wisconsin football is. When Gary Anderson was here, he complained about this and that, and admissions not allowing some kids in that shouldn't have been in anyway. But he got away from what the bread and butter, the meat and potatoes of this program is, and that's the line of scrimmage. So, and with the injuries that they've had, but just the satisfactory play of the offensive line, they need to correct that issue. So if they can fortify the line of scrimmage, then I think we'll see Wisconsin back to where it is. And Jim Leonhard, I'm sure, knows it as well as anybody. You're not going to win. We saw it with the Packers and Jets. If you're outmanned at the line of scrimmage, more times than not, you're going to, 99% of the time, it seems, you're going to lose football games. Yeah. So they need to get that squared away on both sides, for the Packers, certainly, and for the Badgers, too.
And even, and I understand that offensive line can affect your quarterback, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but that overtime with Graham Mertz, and he throws it. I didn't even see. I'd have to go look at the replay when he throws to the end zone in overtime, and there are two Spartans there.
Yeah,
the ball goes between the hands of one, and the other one can't kind of adjust to catch it. Like,
right.
I don't know what was happening there.
Well, I wondered if he was colorblind at that point, right? And like I said,
right?
when we got started, I didn't see a lot of it because I was at the Kohl Center getting ready for Wisconsin hockey, and I saw a bit of the first half. But I can't concentrate on those. But just going through the highlights and the breakdowns, and then reading articles and what have you. He was fortunate there because the game could have been lost right there. But then he comes up with a real nice throw on a real nice play call by Bobby Ingram, and you're feeling good about things. And who would have thought Braylon Allen would drop the ball? But we saw it with Ron Dane, in 1999 at Northwestern. I mean, things like that happen, unfortunately. And then Michigan State took advantage of it. The way they're scheduled, they're going to play Purdue. They should beat Purdue. And you look at the remaining schedule. I mean, the Big Ten West is nothing special. I mean, hell, if Illinois wins the Big Ten West this year, then it's nothing special. And give Brett Bielema all the credit in the world. He's bringing kids in. He's coaching well. He's got he made changes with his staff after 1 year, and it's proven to be beneficial. But are you going to tell me if Illinois wins the West that it has a chance in hell that it's going to knock off Ohio State or anybody that comes out of the West going to beat the Buckeyes in the Big Ten title? Ain't going to happen. And even Michigan, for that matter. Let's say Michigan somehow knocks off Ohio State at the end and gets to the Big Ten title game. From the West, it's a down year for the West. So, but it's almost kind of encouraging when you think of it that way, because Wisconsin's I don't know if it's that far away. Hopefully not from being right back in the thick of things next year. If and when Jim Leonhard is retained as the head coach, like I said, I had confidence in Paul. Obviously, Chris McIntosh had lost confidence in him. I have confidence that Jim Leonhard, if he's the guy, will get this program back to where it needs to be sooner than later.
Yeah, I do too. And I think that will likely, from all accounts, that will likely be Leonhard's job to retain at the end of the season going into next year.
Right. Yeah. I don't know how I don't see any other direction. I mean, it's, you can have a national search all you want, but this change was made, in my opinion, for one reason. Jim Leonhard's your next head coach.
Yeah. All right. Hockey, as we wrap things up here with BP, what needs to happen 0-4 for the men's hockey program to turn things around? Can it be done this season still?
Win games would be good.
Yeah.
Winning games is important.
Write that down. Win games.
Scoring goals would be good. Wisconsin played its best game of the year. Well, of the year, it's only 4 games in, but they played their best game against St. Cloud in the finale of their home opening series and lost 2-1. They hit the post on a power play, otherwise, and early on, like 2 minutes in, 2.5 minutes in, otherwise the complexion of that game changes. But and they fired about 28 shots on goal, but they also missed the net, 20 times. Shooting is one thing. Let's get shots, but shots on goal are important, and this team has been erratic in that regard. They played at Ohio State 2 weeks ago. The Buckeyes are a veteran-laden team and took it to them on Friday. Saturday, Wisconsin was really good for about 35 minutes, up 3-0, and then took some silly penalties and made some mistakes and lost 4-3. It's still a relatively young team, an experienced team, but nobody cares about that. It's about winning. And so against Ohio State and even St. Cloud in the Friday game, they left their goaltender out to dry. They need to be better in their own end, and they need to put the puck away. So they go to Duluth, then back home to play Penn State to get the Big Ten started again, and then Michigan after that, or Michigan actually travel to Michigan State after that, and then they have 4 games at home against Long Island, which is only in its second-year Division I, and then Lindenwood, which is a first-year Division I program. If personally, I said through the first 6 games, which is a tough way to start. You go to Ohio State to start the Big Ten. You're home against St. Cloud, which is one of the better programs in the NCHC. And then you play a Duluth program that's won 3 national titles in the last 10 years. I thought 2 and 4 I'd be fine with that, and then build from there as you're, learning what you have. Well, now they got to go to Duluth and win 2 to get to 2 and 4. And then you're home against a Penn State team that seems to be much improved. Tony Granato knows what's going on. I mean, when Paul got fired, I think any head coach at the University of Wisconsin realizes, well, if they can fire the football coach who has a record of 40 games over 500 or whatever it was, they can fire me too if we don't produce. And Tony, I'm sure, feels the pressure right now, and they need to win. So what I would personally like to see is go to Duluth and play well. Play well, be in both games, find a way to get 1 or 2, and then you're feeling a little bit better about yourself. They do play 34 regular season games before the playoffs, so an 0-4 start is not great, obviously. It's rarely happened in the modern era of Wisconsin hockey. But if they can go up there and play well against a decent team that lost actually twice last weekend at Minnesota State, I think that would, okay, all right, we're okay. We're okay. Come home and you play Penn State. They have 6 of their next 10 at home. So, 6 of the next 8 at home after that. So, I'm a guy that likes his glass or mug half full.
Yeah.
And so I will continue to be that way. But, like I said, if you come back to me in Thanksgiving and they're 2 and 10, then we have a different conversation.
All right, 2 final things for you. Speaking of the hockey and the hockey broadcasts, I see you posted recently at the start of the season, and you've got the flag behind you. Is that something that you're setting up at every broadcast, or is there a story of the Ukraine flag?
No, that's not Ukraine. That's Sweden.
Oh, that's Sweden. I thought that was Ukraine.
So that was in Columbus, and what Ohio State's student section does, they have the flags, the native flags of the players on their squad.
Okay.
And so they have a couple of Swedish players on their squad. Well, my daughter, Maddie, is playing pro hockey in Sweden right now.
Okay.
She's playing for Djurgården. It's a 10-team league, all based in Sweden. They're off to a good start. She's playing well. They had my wife and I, Lynn, we get up on weekends, and it's 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. Central Time when they drop the puck, and we watch all the games. And so I saw the Swedish flag, and I not only sending out a message about, where you can hear the games, but also knowing that my daughter is going to see the picture. So, and then you see that the hashtag 21, there are a couple of reasons for that. One is Rob Andringa, my good buddy, but also this is my 21st year calling games on the radio. So I throw that on there. And then you see hashtag full fart from it.
Yeah.
Now, full fart from it in Swedish is full speed ahead. That's what it means. So fart means speed. Now, but when we say fart, we can't help but laugh, right? So we went to Sweden in September to see Maddie play her first couple of games, and we took my son and our daughter as well. And they have a team store, and one of the T-shirts was "Full Fart From It." Well, Ben is, we just laughed, and so he buys a T-shirt. I bought a sweatshirt for a buddy of mine. I mean,
yeah,
who walks around with a shirt that says "fart" on it? So it's an instant, conversation starter for sure.
Right.
So that's why I did that. So I'll be hashtagging several of my tweets that way. Full fart from it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. And I saw the colors and it made me think Ukraine, but that's Sweden.
No, it's Sweden. It's
Sweden. And I didn't know the hashtag, why it was fart isn't there. And I giggled when I first read it. I'm like, what is this?
What is that? Yeah, exactly. Full speed ahead, John. Full speed ahead.
I asked Brian. Hey, final thing. Did you hear our boy Mike Heller at the Packers post-game press conference yesterday?
Did I hear him at the press conference? I did not.
No, I don't have the audio, but apparently I when I get in my car, sometimes I have it on sports radio, sometimes I don't. And I happen to have it on sports radio coming back from these shots today. And I heard that he had asked Aaron Rodgers his belief if this team is in his belief if this team can still be great.
Sure.
And did you see the response? Rodgers says probably higher than yours. And that was the answer. Because I was watching the post game live and I heard somebody mumbling. That was Heller asking the question. I didn't hear it, but I heard probably higher than yours. And then he just kept going. Wow. Did you see that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I did not. And I'm glad you brought it up, though, because if the question is asked, the questioner obviously doesn't think that they're going to be, that they're going to reach the expectations that we all thought, right? So how else is Aaron Rodgers going to respond? The problem in radio would be it's too short of a cut to use unless you get the full question from Mike Heller, right? So that's great. And you know what? Heller should be doing that anyway. That's his job. Get involved, ask some questions. Don't just sit back there with an extended microphone and just look around like, yo, I'm in the locker room in Green Bay. Heller should work a little bit harder.
I got my microphone.
Yeah. No, come on. Yeah. I'm glad he asked that though. And it was a great response. Good question. Great response.
Yeah. No, I don't.
That's just expect Rodgers to say, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's just what Twitter said. I don't have the exact wording of how he actually asked it, but I did hear Rodgers yesterday say, or on Sunday say, probably higher than yours. And then I put the two together after I heard Heller talk about it today. I thought that was awesome because Rodgers was throwing shade at that reporter who asked the question. And so I guess that was Heller, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good. I'm wondering how he'll answer Mike Heller's questions from now on.
Right. But I don't think Heller meant it to be. I think he was because Heller is a Packer fan. So he obviously has great belief probably that they're going to win like every single game from now on, win the Super Bowl.
Does he? Why would you ask the question otherwise? There's doubt in his mind when he asked the question.
I would think he was probably hoping for a relaxed type of statement or something like, what's your belief? Maybe get a great soundbite from Rodgers.
That's what he was shooting for, I'm sure. Oh, probably. Yeah. And actually, even though it was short, that's a good response. That's a real good answer.
Yeah. Okay. All right, BP. I know you got to run. Thank you so much for jumping on the podcast. Appreciate it. And have a great season calling hockey.
Full fart from it.
Full fart from it. Thank you. That is Brian Posick, the voice of Badger men's hockey, drinking out of his Minnesota cup. Speaking in Swedish. All right. Just a reminder, this is brought to you, this podcast, by me and Julio. Game day specials, open 7 days a week. Sunday breakfast 9 to 1. Go check out me and Julio if you haven't. They've got the $5 classic margaritas as well on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and every game day it's one of their specials, along with the $3 Coors Light pints. Ian's Pizza, 3 locations in Madison. Their State Street location is looking for some people to join the front of house team. Guaranteed $16 an hour. Plus, they got the black and blue flank steak making its guest appearance as one of its specialty slices at Ian's Pizza. Also locations in Madison. And finally, if you want to enter my contest to win tickets to the college football game in Madison on November 5th, got 4 tickets and a $50 gift card to me and Julio. Just write your answer on either Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram on the post for this episode and tell me the college that Marissa Mosley coached at before coming to Wisconsin, the coach of the Wisconsin women's basketball team. Answer that. Get all 3 answers correct this episode, previous episode, and the future upcoming episode, and you'll be entered in the final drawing. All right. Thanks to Brian Posick, and thank you for listening to this, the John Cast podcast. Thank you. Goodbye.